The community spirit is a vital component of Mass. This segment of the Art of Mass highlights the various ways Mass band leaders have been contributing to the community.
I am Vincent John. I'm currently a Mass band leader for Mass Dominic UK Carnival Band. I also chair the Association of Calypsonians and Soca Artists and being the first chair of the Carnival Arts and Masquerade Foundation, but currently it's a trustee director focusing on business and governance. Most members of CAMF are either charities or small limited companies or voluntary organizations. And usually they're very vibrant in terms of their participation in Carnival. But one of the things that most bands should have are really good governance. Unless they've got the constitution, unless they've got quite good rules, it creates a level of organization and structure and good practice. So in terms of CAMF, we think that the importance of governance should never be underestimated. So we have our constitution, we're a limited company, by guarantee as a charitable organization. We ensure that the rules reflect our articles of association, reflect the will of the membership, who is to ensure that there's good order, there's respect, there's compliance with all the legal requirements, and that really is very important. One of the legal requirements that we have been focusing on in the last few years is the General Data Protection Regulations, that we cannot, as in the past, simply give away information about our members, whether they're individuals or organizations. We have to respect the law in terms of ensuring that whatever we do in terms of data is protected. We protect the data and information of our membership. So we will not, for instance, provide another organization with our list of members and their contact details. That is a contravention of the rules, and we ensure that the rules are there on our website. Our members have been briefed about it. They've been ensure that it's legally compliant.
My name is Yvonne Cador and I represent Calabash Carnival Club. Calabash Carnival Club was formed in November 2003. We're a very exclusive band in the sense that we involve the community. We're diverse. Calabash takes part in different festivals throughout the year, Notting Hill being one of them. We also do a lot of fundraising and we attend community events. My first experience of Carnival was on the island of Grenada in the Caribbean, attending with my grandparents. As a child, very passionate about seeing the costumes and the hard work that the costumes that people have actually made. And then coming over to England, I think that passion was embedded as a child, and that's why now I have the passion for Carnival. The importance of wearing a costume in the UK, it shows the hard work and the culture, and I think from the pioneers that's been handed down to us, we're now handing that down to the young people, getting them involved in Carnival, so the legacy of Carnival could be carried on. I think the important thing about safeguarding, especially around children, is to ensure, for example, that the first thing you do is get parental permission. Look at the risk that may affect children once they're taking part in Notting Hill. It's important also that we have a duty of care for the children. If I give you an example, if any child is on medication, parents need to actually be taking part in Carnival, so they're actually at hand to administer any medication that's needed. But as a band, we have a duty of care for the children. It's important that you record any risk, you attend health and safety briefing, safeguarding in the sense of record everything. You know, ensure that you have insurance. Your insurance will cover any of the children that may have specific needs to take part in Carnival.
My name's Lynn Cador. I've been participating in the London Notting Hill Carnival for over 30 years. One of the things that we do is to make sure that from a CMA perspective, all our DJs are trained in terms of health and safety, in terms of their awareness, their knowledge, risk assessments, and most importantly, things like the mass band leader may not consider or may not understand or take into consideration in terms of their own risk assessment, which is very important. So the things I'm referring to is specifically on the road. So for instance, where you have to deal with things like incidents, microphone announcements in terms of dealing with the police, dealing with stewards, dealing with the public, type of music played, the lyrics of the music played. There's a whole raft of things that need to be considered in terms of health and safety, which we look at specifically to do with on the road. And we've built up a wealth of knowledge and experience over the years so that we can actually develop, and which we have developed, our own health and safety briefing sessions over the years that we actually do every year. And we have our own templates in terms of risk assessment templates, aid memoirs for band leaders in terms of the things that they need to consider. And they go from all sorts of things from, you know, we've got a checklist of about 40 items that are simple items that actually, how many bands actually think of that in terms of their responsibility. So one of the things that I'm really passionate about is really drumming home and raising the level of awareness of health and safety, specifically on the road, and the responsibility and, dare I say, the liability that band leaders have when they take out a band on the road in any carnival. And the principles that I and the organisation adopt can be applied to any carnival event. The principles are the same. A risk assessment is a risk assessment. You need to consider all the risks, potential risks, and any mitigations and control measures that you need to be put in place to lower that level of risk. And this is where we have that expertise and knowledge that we developed over the years. So it's something that I commend the mass band leaders in terms of how they operate, because it's very, very important that they consider the health and safety implications.
My name is Sally Sturgeon. I'm the coordinator of People's Oil Carnival Band. Basically, I run the mass camp. We make carnival costumes for Notting Hill Carnival and other community events, locally and nationally and internationally. And currently, because we're not taking part in Notting Hill Carnival this year, we have kind of switched our emphasis, and we're making sure that our community gets fed from whatever donations we get. We were doing this before we went into lockdown, but now we've just pumped up the operation, and we're making sure that we get food out to other community groups in the local area.
My name is Jeffrey Simon, and my current role in Carnival is a street trader. My early memory of Carnival go way back to Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't really wear costume, but my mother used to take us to the Carnival every Carnival season, and we would just look at the mass, and that played a role in I getting involved in Carnival on a later date, because that indoctrination, they kind of stood in my memory all the time of Carnival. Besides that, I volunteered to do some cooking to help vulnerable people in our local community, which, you know, and unfortunately, when some problem occurred and it was discontinued, I thought I should take up the mantle and try to do something from our restaurant, which is Uptown Cuisine, 161 Park Lane. So at present now, it's about 5 weeks now, we're doing food for the local community and the vulnerable people in our area. We do Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and that period we do roughly about 400 meals per week. And it even rising, people coming for food. Well, while doing it in the local community, I meet a lot of people who are involved in Carnival, like Angela, you. I mean, I see you doing security at Alexander Palace, one of the major food hubs there in the area. You know, you're there doing security. I come and see Sally. Yes, Sally is working in a food bank in Selby Center. So all where I look, I'm seeing people who was involved in the Carnival, taking part in this crisis time and trying to make a difference. And, you know, and it's important that we're doing, because besides Carnival, any way we could do something to help out in the community, which I see everybody doing is a good thing. So besides jumping and playing the mass, we still playing our role to assist and help out in our local community. And I'm part of that, and I'm proud to be part of that also.
My name is John Roach. I represent People's World Carnival Band. People's World evolved because the previous band, People's War, the guy just decided to stop doing carnival. So rather than let it go, we had a little meeting and we decided, okay, we're going to try and keep the name similar. So with a little discussion and stuff, we come up with People's World Carnival Band. My earliest childhood memory when I was 7 back in Trinidad. And about 4 houses away was a carnival band called Dem Boys. And this is where I got taken away with steel band. And I end up pushing down the road, going onto town, down Frederick Street, all around there. Just got carried away, didn't know where I was. Till I came back home, and then that was where it started. My dad gave me some licks because one of his friends saw me down there. So that's my first memory of getting involved within carnival. I like to be more in the background, making stuff, and what I get a pleasure from is on the day when we on the road and we start pulling off, I like to look and see how the band looks, and that gives me, you know, a lot of happiness, seeing people enjoying themselves, seeing what we've created, you know, and from there, yeah. I've never worn a costume, but I take pleasure in watching the happiness and the joy in people's faces when they are in the costumes, and that makes me feel good, and when I know they're enjoying themselves. How I see it is it's a throwback to when there was the celebration of freedom of slavery, as far as I understand how carnival evolved. We want to keep this going because it's a good history for us to look back on, yeah, and celebrate certain things within the West Indian culture. Lockdown hasn't really affected me because before the actual lockdown, I took stuff home, and I was continuously making stuff because I got a year now, so I can be prepared rather than rushing about lastminute.com like how I normally do. But I love it though. I love the hanging about to the last minute and then, you know, getting the costumes done. But no, it never affected me because I still carried on at home. Although we've lost this year, 2021, yeah, should be ready. Hopefully that no virus is around, you know.
My name is Selvan Dindial, known as Selvan. I represent La Trinity Carnival Club. I'm the band leader of La Trinity Carnival Club. La Trinity was formed about 21 years ago with a few of us who were in different bands because we felt that the art form needed to be strengthened, and we had the common skills to actually maintain the art form and teach the art form. We've been successful so far, but monetary reasons, we can only do what we can do with the money we've got. My earliest memory of mass is in Trinidad, sitting on my father's shoulder, looking at the mass coming down the street, standing on the pavement on Frederick Street, watching the mass come down, or passing a panyard. I wasn't allowed, at those days, my age, you weren't allowed to go into a panyard. That was for hooligans and vagabonds. So you'd listen to the pan on the street, from the street. Different, because the whole country, different aspects of carnival you come into, and you build up this liking for something. I like costuming, like the interpretation of costuming. To me, that is the art form. In my early days, I wore costumes because you had girlfriends and so that would play mass and you'd play with them. But later on, I went more into the production of mass and helping other bands, working with other people, working with other experienced mass people, learning the art form, and then interpreting it my way. Yeah, I gave up playing mass because then the old knees started to play up. So And it wasn't for me. It was more the costuming and making costumes. The importance to me, for me, it feels as though I've still got part of home in me. It's something that I grew up with, something that refreshes me. At times I sit at home and my memory go back and I feel invigorated next morning. It helps me get through the day sometimes. And plus the significance of the liberation of slavery. It's a celebration. It's a pre-Lenten thing where people let your energies go, all your whining, whatever. So you go into that period of, of calmness, the 40 days fasting and so forth. It's a combination of things, but the costuming to me, the interpretation of it, I see it, maybe some people might say old-fashioned way, because to me, costume should be portraying something. It's not me playing something, city beneath the sea, and have a whole heap of feathers. It doesn't make sense. Feathers have always been in masks, don't get me wrong, but used appropriately. And that to me, my costumes should be made when it's sitting there. Someone say, "Oh, that's an Aztec costume. Oh, that's a Roman costume." Or they shouldn't have to ask somebody, "What is that?" And I'm not being disrespectful to anybody because different people have different levels of skill. But nowadays you've got to ask, what are they playing? And then if I shuffled 5 bands in Trinidad, shuffle them together, you can't tell me which bands and what they're playing. You could wear the same costume year after year, just change a few feathers. I don't see much future with the mask here because people see just feathers and beads is carnival. In fact, it's gone to a party on the road, not masquerading and portraying something. It's just one giant party. We need to educate our own kids, first of all, before we educate other people, that this is what carnival means. It's a holy thing almost. Education is the secret for people understanding. Respect. I remember going to play mass in Leeds in the early days in the 70s. And when a band passed, the people would clap. Now they want to jump in the band and dive behind the music. And that is purely from lack of education. We should not complain about anything because we got to teach our own kids first. And there's a lot of disrespect from our own kids. And let's get that right first.
My name is Marva Antoine and my band is Tropical Isles. We work with all ages. We are a creative arts organisation. We offer mentoring, apprenticeships. We do work placements, we do skills development, and we take part in Notting Hill and Hackney Carnival. We do touring, we do a lot of creative arts, and most of our work is geared to helping young people back into employment and the creative industries. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. We're now an award-winning band. You can look in the trophy room and see our earliest award was from 2004. My earliest memory was, I would say, 2006, when we first went to Notting Hill, and I remember it was a pink flamingo costume, which didn't look like a flamingo. I don't know what it looked like then, but we thought it was amazing. But it was our first attempt to do a bird's costume. It's a heritage that's been brought down to many generations, and I feel that it's not shared enough. The experience of how to make masks, we really don't want to lose it. What Tropical Isles is about putting young people on a platform and giving them a sense of purpose. I think, and it's about making them achieve their goals in arts or the creative sector. We feel that they don't get this opportunity. They're not allowed to express themselves, and through the carnival it helps them to develop, and it installs those skills that are not found in the schools. Because of the change in COVID-19, a lot of our workshops have been online, and what we've had a calling for was the soca aerobics, which we do live every Wednesdays 5 till 6. We also been doing another project with masks, because we know that everybody sooner or later is going to be wearing masks, and the whole idea of making the mask, which is 100% cotton, is to make sure that you know how to wear it, how to clean, how to wash, and about the safety behind wearing masks.
In London, on the 23rd of April 2002, the Paraiso School of Samba was formed. By early summer, they performed at Her Majesty the Queen's Golden Jubilee Parade and, shortly afterwards, when Brazil won the World Cup, at an impromptu samba party in Trafalgar Square, which dominated national news bulletins. The hat-trick was to be the Notting Hill Carnival a mere 4 months after the group's creation, a parallel perhaps with their emblem on which a phoenix rises from the ashes to proclaim its newborn strength and being. It also embodies hope for the future. The group, many of whom are Brazilian, permanently resident in London, practice for the carnival in a church hall in Covent Garden. It is here that they establish their individual roles for the parade and assess the aims and identity of Paraiso as a whole. At its heart are two brothers, founder members Enrique and Mestre Esteves da Silva. Enrique is a professional dancer and dance teacher, and Mestre Esteves is a master of bateria, samba's drum section. Master is an honorary title conferred on Esteves in Brazil that reflects his experience and ability in this, the most colourful and vibrant of art forms.
Guys, what do we do here? That's the Carnavalesca.
Hello everyone, assistant.
Yeah, assistant, okay. Oh, hi, my name is Enrique da Silva and I'm the president of Paraiso School of Samba, and what can I say, Paraiso has been born in 2002 on the 23rd of April. She was founded by Mestre Esteve and a few other members.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex, aka Lily, so as everyone knows me as. Yes, so I've been part of Paraiso since 2002 when it being founded. I was actually in a little room, I remember very well, there was about like 4 or 5 of us.
That's right.
When then I'm just being called for this secret meeting. And then I was one of the members and being part of the school, helping out, and one of the teachers.
And for us, Paraiso is quite important because Paraiso does bring the art and folklore of a people, so bring it where give their identity give the identity where we come from, and which is very important. We feel very proud to represent Brazil and bring all this culture to over here, which we think Brazil is kind of very diversity. And here we find a community which is people from all over the world. You know, there are Italians, English, Spanish, isn't it? They're all among us, and you feel like Brazil, right?
My name is Maria Joseph. I'm the artistic director and founder of Mardi Gras Arts. It's a company that I developed in about 30 years ago. We do prototypes for different carnivals around the world. We also do production. I also produce carnival designs for myself to be on Notting Hill Carnival Road, and we cater for theatre and everything. I first started wearing costumes in Trinidad and Tobago, where I grew up. My cousin, she used to bring out a children's band. Can't remember the name of it now, but But I used to be their queen, their carnival queen, and I used to take part in the children's carnival competitions in Trinidad. I was artistic anyway, so I just grew to love the art of carnival. Following that, as I came to England, to London, I decided to get involved in carnival when my first daughter was born. And we had a carnival band. My aunt, she was the person who ran that one called Burrakeets, UK. And we decided to start doing individual costumes. And from the age of 3, my daughter had the first individual costume, which encouraged her to be in carnival. I always wear carnival costumes, even though I produce it. I make carnival costumes. I also wear them on Carnival Day at Notting Hill. It's an expression of our culture. It's very important to know where you're coming from so that you can know where you're going to. Bringing up young children, it's very important for them to know who they are, what their background is, so that they can be proud of their culture, proud of who they are, and just express it in the best way ever, which is in carnival costume and in the making of it. Well, in my case, and my daughter's case, where we both have a carnival brand. We both get in volunteers, people who want to try out their hand at being artistic. Some people who don't even know that they are artistic, we persuade them to try out a different skill. And a lot of the skills that we teach in carnival costume making are transferable skills, more importantly, that can be transferred to the ordinary working day. I've developed my own career and business out of carnival craft. So even in the coronavirus, I've been able to transfer those skills to even be, to make my own jewelry. And it's very, very transferable, those skills. One of the things or misconception that people have is that you need to be part of a group to be able to, or you need to be in a special group to be part of carnival. This is not true. You can get into carnival and wear those lovely bright costumes just by going on your website platforms such as Camp that show you the different carnival bands where you can choose which carnival costume, what kind of design you would like to wear. There's a wide selection. In a lot of the carnival costume bands or the groups, there is a cost involved. And that is because it costs money to make carnival costumes. It does cost a lot for the feathers, for all the bling that you see on the road. It does cost a lot. So we do have to charge money for carnival costumes, but anybody can wear carnival costumes. Big, small, old, young, everyone is welcome.
My name is Sophia Joseph, and I have my own carnival section called Wasseyville in Notting Hill Carnival, and I usually use this platform to design for other carnivals around the globe. I actually started as a hobby. My mum taught me how to make costumes, and I decided to start making costumes for my friends. And then I decided, well, why not make this available to more people around me, because they all liked my designs. As a young girl, my mum always used to make what we call individual costumes for me to be in a competition. And then it progressed to Junior Queen. And from there, I just kind of went with it. I just enjoyed wearing a costume, participating in carnival, making it, getting my friends to be a part of it. So it's pretty much something that's been handed down through generation to generation. A lot of people already purchase their costumes. A lot of people still continue to pay for their costumes, and they're expecting for 2021 to be, if anything, even more spectacular than what this year would be. My designs are, they're more risky, they're more sexy. They cater more to the younger crowd who like to expose more skin, who like to wear sexy designs, really. They still portray a theme and they still tell a story. It's just everyone has their own take on it. Mine tends to be more on the risky side, yeah. I know that I talk a lot about risky and sexy costumes, but it's a lot more deeper than that. It's years and years of cultural history, migration, and it's not just the costume as well. It's the music, it's the migration of people in the costume on the roads. It's more than what you see on the day. There's a history behind it.
My name is Taliyah Hawkins Roberts, and I currently represent the Core. I am a Calypsonian, and I'm also judging the Calypso competitions. I was invited to join the London Calypso tent back in 1992 because I was messing around on stage, and I turned out to be the first woman who was actually part of the ABC. What happens with ABC is that every year there are competitions, just like the rest of Carnival. You know, Steel Pan has competition, Mass has competition, Calypso has competition. It's all part of the Carnival experience. So yeah, started singing and then went on to teach the trained junior children to also do singing and writing calypsos and songwriting. And yes, and that was at the Yah Santua Arts and Community Centre. So the Core comes out of the Yah Santua Arts and Community Centre. The Core are a group of people, award-winning, I want to say, right here and right now. We were award-winning, and we came together to form the Core. I am actually a director of the Core as well as treasurer. It was an opportunity, you know, it was an opportunity that was necessary, because when we decided to become the Core, what actually happened was we said, we're going to do this. And the next thing we knew, people were coming to us and saying, could you make our costumes? Could you make our costumes? And we hadn't even formulated a business plan. The Core has done a lot of work internationally, and we were actually invited in our very first year that we started, which was 2012. We were actually invited to Nigeria to do a 3-year contract with them. Now we were invited by a group called Master Blaster, and they had never won anything in Nigerian Carnival, and they kind of said, if you come for the first year and and help us to win, then you can work for 3 years. And really, that's exactly what happened. For 3 years straight, they worked with us and they won. So, and I mean, once they won the first year, they were really excited. And we brought really imaginative, large costumes. And I have to say, we were well received, and by everyone, by participants, by spectators, by even the governors. Most years, we've done a Queen costume that we have presented in the Trinidad Carnival, and I have to say we're doing really well with that, and getting well known, and getting really great reviews. My first memory of wearing a costume was, I think, 1992 at Yah Santua. Don't ask me what the costume was, though. I don't remember what that costume was. I remember it was an all-in-one outfit, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was really exciting. I think my daughter and I came along, and both of us wore costumes, and boy, I remember just going across the stage, and thinking to myself, this is it, this is it.
I always take the view that unless you're actually part of the carnival band and wearing a carnival costume, you never experience the full quality and benefits of Mass. You can wear a T-shirt, which isn't really a costume, and you could be part of the crowd, part of the observing the parade. But to actually wear a costume, what you're doing is you're really presenting to onlookers your forefathers, a celebration of freedom and liberty. you feel that you've put time and effort. And most of us band leaders and masqueraders and carnivalists, we are not paid, but we put the time and effort into making a costume which makes us feel comfortable, which really reflects our love for the culture. So wearing a costume is so important, and I encourage my young masqueraders not only to design costumes, but to actually make them and really retain our culture, but also reflect the modern experience. And I think that means it's quite a significant thing to do. Well, I think mass is the foundation. I know that Calypso is the precursor of mass, and it's really telling the story of our people. It's a reflection of our experiences. But being in mass, I think, really encourages you to look at all aspects of the culture. It is about music. It's about movement, creativity. It's about song. And it's also about display. Because unless you can actually display that level of freedom, the level of art, your artistic qualities, that, I think, is the essence of mass. And I think as long as we can retain the artistic development and the presentation of our artistic qualities, I think that will sustain the art form.
Vibes Mass, yeah man, you're a touch of class, yeah man. You come first, you could have never come last. Vibes Mass, you ready for the road, easy. Lady B, Kayak Sound's #1 sound system. Let's go! Huh! Vibes Mass. Ha, Lady B. Make way for the Vibes Mass. Make way for the Vibes Mass. Hey, hey, Kayak Sounds. Hey, tell them we feeling good. Like a new machine, like morning dew. Fresh and the scene, but we go party to the full extreme. Unlike TikTok, we just holler when you see Vibes Mass. Come down, we drum it still, and they're rolling with Taliyah.